And welcome back. We are here at the One More Round studio. Casey Gisclair here. We made an effort to get Damian St. Pierre, but he is partying in Vegas, so I don't know that we're going to have him. If he calls or, if he returns call, we'll get him. But we still have Richie Mott on the line. Every day in Southeast Louisiana is a wonderful day. Obviously, this is the best place in the world to live, in my opinion. But today was an especially great day. And I'll tell you why. The news broke early this morning. Actually, it kind of started last night. There were some reports saying that Chris Paul was a heavy favorite to sign with the Houston Rockets in free agency. Well, that story accelerated this morning when word came out from Adrian Wojciechowski at Yahoo. He's going to be an ESPN guy tomorrow. The report was Chris Paul was going to be traded to the Houston Rockets. He opted into the final year of his deal and was going to be traded to the Houston Rockets. The Clippers, in return, get Patrick Beverley, Sam Decker, Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell, and then some fillers, as well as a first-round pick. It's well known that I'm a big Houston Rockets fan. I'm a Houston Rocket loyalist, apologist, everything you name it, I am it with the Rockets. I'm wearing a Rockets hat right now. So, Richard Mott, be honest with me, my man. Is this a good move? Is this a bad move? What are your thoughts as you see the trade break?
I think it's a good move. In today's NBA, you can't just compete with one. I guess you can say two star players on Houston's team. Lou Williams was a big uplift off the bench, I think. But now you have two big guys. They're not big guys, but big superstars. And if you can get one more piece, man, I think they're going to be a competitor. For those to be that top three team, like Golden State and Cleveland, man.
You touched on something that is very important there, and that's getting a third guy and getting another player into this mix here in Houston. And we got Melo here working the board here and putting us on and off air. And I know he's a big Carmelo Anthony guy, but I don't know if it's going to be Carmelo Anthony. I don't know if it's going to be Paul George. I don't know, what the third guy is going to be. But if you look at the way Houston did this, they didn't sign Chris Paul, which would have forced them to use a lot of cap space. They traded for him, which means that they get bird rights, which I know this is a very technical thing. But by having someone's bird rights, you could re-sign them and go over the salary cap by doing so. So this clears room for them to get a third player. I don't know who it's going to be, but the reason why I like this move, I'm not crazy about the way Chris Paul fits in Houston. I'm really not. But I think that it allows, you could start to see the yellow brick road being formed of, here's their path to the NBA Finals. Here's their path to the Western Conference Finals. I think they're really maneuvering to try to get a third guy.
I agree. And like you said, it's the path, but like we had touched again, they just need to finish it, man. They need to finish that, get that last piece. It just seems like today's formula in today's NBA is to have that big three. It's the beating a dead horse. You need that third player, man. Like you said, whether it be Chris Paul, whether it be Paul George or Carmelo Anthony. Now, again, like everyone else, I've heard the rumors on Paul George. Them obviously going after Paul George pretty hard. And you also mentioned about them not having to give up a lot of monetary value and stuff like that for Chris Paul. If I'm correct, I want to say Harden also gave up some of his contract to get Chris Paul in there.
Yeah.
When they gave up, I think he opted in his final year.
Yeah.
So, he obviously knew he needed another piece. He needed another superstar, and, he's seen the writing on the wall, man. He's definitely looking to build that championship team in Houston, man. And that's what you need. A bunch of guys going to be on the same page.
So here's the question that I have, and we're going to play hypothetical now. We're going to make a pretend basketball team. Let's say the Rockets trade Ryan Anderson and some draft picks or Ryan Anderson and a role player or two to Indiana, and they get Paul George. If you have a starting five of Chris Paul, James Harden, Paul George, Clint Capella at center, and whoever else at power forward, Is that a team that is capable of beating the Golden State Warriors in a 7-game series?
All right, let me do you one better. Name me the starting 5 for Golden State.
Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, Zaza Pachulia. The same 5 as last year.
Okay, now that's 5 names that even every average basketball fan knows.
Sure.
So you have James Harden, Chris Paul, Paul George. You don't have 2 other household names. Yeah, you can compete, but we just have to be real. They're not going to win, man. I mean, you need somebody pretty significant. I mean, it's hard to beat a team like Golden State. They built that team. They built that team from the draft up.
Well,
it takes a long time. I mean, in my opinion, and Golden State proved that it took a long time to build that team. And you just can't build that team overnight.
I agree.
Chris Paul is definitely going to get them there. Chris Paul, James Harden, and if they make that one more superstar trade for Paul George, I'll put them up there with Golden State and Cleveland. But I still can't. That still doesn't lean me towards a championship.
Here's the thing: I think that we're forgetting Eric Gordon in this equation. I think Eric Gordon in that lineup that we talked about there would give big time problems to the Warriors because, I mean, here I guess we were talking about this off the air. And you're right. The Warriors are going to be unbelievably difficult for anybody to beat. There's no doubt about that. But if you're Houston and you got this wide open system, this is like arcade basketball. This is like arena football basketball where you're scoring 130, 140 points a game. And you got Chris Paul controlling that operation and leading the fast break and distributing the ball like Steve Nash did. Okay, those Sun teams, they had Nash, they had Marion, Amare, and they had a bunch of shooters. Well, in Houston right now, they're developing Chris Paul. They've got Harden to play sort of that Marion role of scoring a lot and scoring off the ball. Clint Capella, I think, is an underrated player. I'm not saying that they would definitively beat the Warriors, and I know I'm a homer here, man, but I do think that they would thrust firmly into the place of they're the only team that I think could challenge them. I don't think Cleveland could challenge them. It was 4-1 in the finals. It was not all that competitive. Cleveland has to make some significant moves to challenge Golden State. If Houston makes one more move, I could see a path where they can maybe challenge the Warriors.
Oh, definitely. I mean, just with the pieces Houston has now, I can't say they're better than Cleveland, but in a series, they're better than Cleveland.
Sure.
I mean, it's Cleveland. I'm like you. Cleveland definitely needs to make a couple big moves in the offseason. Whether it be Paul George, Carmelo Anthony. It needs to be a big move, and they need to move on them fast. I mean, the way other teams are moving now, because from what I understand, I believe San Antonio was looking at Chris Paul. And, I mean, Houston just swept them under the rug,
Is that good for the NBA? And we could shift and talk a little bit of Pelicans in a minute, but is that good? Because right now, the season starts in October and November. I could tell you right now, either the Warriors, Rockets, Spurs, Celtics, or Cavaliers is going to win the NBA championship. Richie, that's 5 teams out of 30. Is that good for the league?
It's good for the fans. That's all I can say. Good for the game of basketball. I'm pretty sure Melo's going to agree with me on this. No. I mean, I just don't think it's good for the game of basketball because, you have all these kids and we all affiliate ourselves with a lot of youth sports. So you have a lot of young kids watching this stuff and, trying to imitate what they see on TV. So yeah, I guess that's my answer. It's good for the fans. It's just not good for the game of basketball.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And we promised some Pelicans here. So what do you think they could do in the offseason? I know that their first domino is what are they going to do with Drew Holiday? Are they going to re-sign him? Are they not going to re-sign him? How do you think that's all going to play out? And do you think they have a legitimate chance to thrust themselves into playoff contention this offseason?
Man, to be honest, I think it's in New Orleans' best interest to keep Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
I know he's a little bit injury prone lately, but I mean, what other option you have?
There are none.
That's what I'm saying. What other option on the market right now do you see them to do? You need a point guard. There's no doubt about that, man. I mean, you could have Anthony Davis and Boogie Cousins all you want. If you have nobody to get them the ball, it's, that's you need a point guard, man. The best option right now on the market is who you have in your pocket, and that's Drew Holiday.
If you're Los Angeles, if you're Miami, if you're New York, if you're Brooklyn, if you're an attraction city, a place where all these NBA guys want to be, then you can maybe say, yeah, we let Drew go. But I don't know that anyone the Pelicans could sign on the open market is going to be better than him. But here's the thing, man, and I agree with you 100%. The best free agent that this team has signed since they have moved to New Orleans is freaking Tyreke Evans. Are you kidding me? So they're not going to get anyone in the open market that's going to be better than Drew Holiday. This is just not a place where free agents want to be.
I agree. And to be honest, I mean, anybody that's watched the Pelicans this season, that's not their, I'd say towards the end of the season, that's not their biggest need. Obviously, the biggest need is getting somebody on the outside to shoot the three ball. You need to spread the court, man. That's what you need to do, and that's what you need to look for is see if you can pluck one or two gems out of the free agent market that can spread the floor.
I hear you. We're going to continue this NBA talk throughout the summer. There's no doubt about it. It's going to be a wild off season, but we got about another 5 or 6 minutes with you, buddy. And there were some interesting comments Drew Brees made talking a little bit of NFL. It's almost football season again, thank goodness. But Drew Brees had some interesting things to say. He's starting up a flag football league, and then when asked why he was starting a flag football league, he said, well, I'm a father. I got, 3-4 boys, or however many kids they have now. And he said, I wouldn't let my kids play tackle football today. So it's too much strain on the body. You get injured, concussions, all that good stuff. I thought it was interesting being a guy that's made so much money playing tackle football. We're all sort of at that age where we have to think about what decisions we would maybe make for our children. So I'm going to ask you straight up. Would you allow your kid, your son, to play tackle football if he wanted to play as a child?
Well, let me start off here. I read that story earlier, and I believe Drew Brees' exact comments were he was trying to save the game. He also said that he didn't play tackle football until his freshman year in high school.
Wow.
And, I mean, he turned out pretty good. I mean, for not playing tackle football until your freshman year in high school, I'm pretty sure he's doing well. Now, anybody that knows me personally, in reality, obviously, my son's not going to play football. I'm not a big guy. A little troll on myself right there. But, that's something I think a couple years back I seen an I guess you could say a little bit of research done that they actually put these little meters inside of a college football player, high school football player, and a pro football player's helmets to see who gets the worst hit. Now, from the outside looking in, you think that it would be, the stronger, faster guy in the NFL that's going to hit the hardest, get the most pounds per square inch on its hit. But in reality, that wasn't the truth. It was the high school players that were getting the most, because they're, in their mind, they're, every high school football player wants to, be at that next level. Thinks in his mind that he's going to make it at that next level, and that's just not reality. And it trickles down from there, man. I mean, I don't know if you guys watch, is it Little Tykes or something on the USA Network?
Isn't that a circus?
It's about some Texas, Pee Wee football players, and man, them kids go after it. And I watched a few of them, and there's a few cringeworthy plays and tackles on there that it makes you think, would I let my kid? And to answer your question, man, I mean, it's hard because all my close friends know that I actually have a son on the way in November. And, man, I mean, at this point, I'm going to have to say no.
And here's the thing, I respect that decision 100%, and here's why is I've watched youth football be played, and especially locally, and it's a situation where a lot of times what's best for the child's body, which is not fully developed, is not taken into consideration. You got dads that are giving their son the ball 40 and 50 times a game, letting them take a beating, and here's what people don't realize, and this is a big part of the problem, is in the pros, yeah, man, you got this multi-million-dollar state-of-the-art equipment, and everybody's protected, and it's not as dangerous as one would think it would be. But in junior high, in Pee Wee League, in high school, you just kind of got the restants, as we say here in South Louisiana. You just kind of got the leftover equipment. It's not, unbelievable stuff that they're using to protect their bodies, and your mind's not all the way developed yet. And that just makes me a little bit nervous because I know, I'm 30 now. I remember how my body was when I was 10, 11, 12 years old. I wasn't ready to take a beating like that at that age. It worries me anytime that conversation comes up because these bones are not all the way grown yet. These ligaments are not all the way grown yet. And if something happens, man, it could affect the rest of your life, man.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, you think about it, man. Not only the effect on the kids, but I mean, you think you're gonna start a Pee Wee football league, tackle football league. You have all the costs of equipment, insurances, and stuff like that, versus starting a non-pad, flag football league, where I mean, the equipment cost is little to none. But I mean that doesn't compare to the actual medical risk involved in it for these kids. I know we deal with a lot of competitive kids on a daily basis. And, if you were to ask them, would you rather play flag football or tackle football? Obviously, any competitive kid is going to say tackle football. But again, just like their bones, I mean, their brains aren't fully developed. I mean, they want to win. They want to get to that next level, like I said a little while ago. But, I mean, it's just it's a hard pill to swallow, man. I mean, I believe, was it 2 years ago, we had a situation at St. Lafourche with a kid,
sure,
man.
Sure.
It's just a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, there's no doubt, and it's a debate that's going to continue to go on, and I think that we're going to see youth football numbers continue to drop. They have dropped significantly in the last 10 or 12 years. But, Mott, I want to thank you, man. It's been a good show. We had a good time, and we'll do this again real soon, bud.
I agree, man. Thank y'all.
Absolutely. That is Mott, one of our guys here at the One More Round studio. I want to thank Mello for pushing all the buttons, making everything work. We had a great time today. It's been a good show. Good day for me. Talking about the Rockets. Anytime I get a chance to brag about the Rockets, I'm happy about that. Next time, maybe LSU baseball will be a little bit of a more positive conversation. But we may even have Paul Maneri here. We got his number. We could try to maybe give him a buzz and talk about how the Tigers season went. I have Jared Poche's number. We're going to try to maybe get him on the line over the summer as well. But we're going to sign off. It was a great time. Next time, we're going to have the full band together here in studio. We're still building, so be patient with us. But we're going to sign off here from the One More Round studio in Golden Meadow. Thanks so much for listening, and God bless everybody. Take care.
One More Round Studio Production.